Hello and welcome to the Work for Change podcast. My name is Jean, spelled like Gene.
And my name is John with a silent H.
Heck, yes it is.
Yeah, it is.
And I want to welcome you, or I guess we want to welcome you to episode 14.
No, I didn't want to welcome
Wait,
you to
what
this.
is it's 13.
What?
I practiced this.
Did
14.
you? This is episode 14.
Episode 14 of the Work for Change podcast.
I'm pretty sure it's episode 14.
Yeah, I think so. It's been a crazy week.
Yeah.
Especially more for you.
Yeah.
But we'll get into that. Don't you worry about that. Really excited about this week's episode. But before we do anything, we got a special iTunes review. Isn't that correct?
Yeah, we do. As you guys know, if you guys want to hear your review on the podcast, go to the iTunes store and leave us a review and give us 5 stars if you think it's worthy of that, which I think it is. But, you know, do up to your own discretion. Do whatever you want to do. But if you want to get your review read, give us them reviews and we'll read them. So this review comes from Colossians 3:23. That's the name of the person. COL 3:23 says, "Keep it up, guys. Audio excellence. Jean and John, thanks for everything you guys do and the work you put into giving something back to others. You create sick content, and I really enjoy your humor. Thank you for the honesty, transparency, and sincerity that you convey. You're both awesome, and I'm proud of you. God bless you both. P.S. Jean, maybe when you're tearing off your clothes, running frantically, and suffering mental breaks, you should consider wearing a helmet for your safety. Just a thought." And then a bunch of emojis after that.
Oh my goodness.
That's a good one.
I
saw that one. I was like, that's a good review. That's a lot of thought that went into that.
Yeah, that was an emotional roller coaster.
Yeah, it was.
Following
It
that
was.
one. Today, if you follow me on Instagram, you guys saw that today was a rip your clothes off and run around the gym kind of day.
Yeah.
So if you're not following me on Instagram,
Oh my gosh.
you're missing out at Jean Glod.
Yep. And then if you want to follow me at John_Glod, or if you want to follow my main page, obese_2_beast. And then obviously, if you are watching the podcast and you're liking it, give us, well, I already said review, but give us, let us know that you're listening to it. So give us, put on your story. I don't know why I keep saying give us. Put on your story. Hashtag Work for Change podcast. Let us know that you're listening to it because we really appreciate it. And tag us so we can put it on our story, give you a little bit of a shout out as well.
Heck yeah. And also don't forget the hashtag Work for Change podcast on your posts as well. I've been following recently the Work for Change podcast hashtag because you can do that on Instagram now. And it's so interesting. I'm like, I don't know who this person is. Oh, Work for Change podcast hashtag. And then I'm able to like it and then comment and
creep on them a little bit.
Yeah. So it's good times. It's good fun. And our last announcement before we begin here. We're going to have merch coming.
Yeah.
We just don't know when yet. Okay.
Yeah.
All the steps are there. Now we're just waiting for the execution.
Yep.
So
we have to listen to our own advice and just get it done.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we need to execute the very last step, purchasing the shirts.
Yeah.
So that we can bring them. But everything else is in line. You guys keep on asking, and you need to keep on asking.
Keep bothering us.
Because they are coming. But that's it. Going into this episode 14.
Pretty sure. Or 13.
One of those episodes
of the Work for Change podcast.
Permanence, perseverance, and persistence in spite of all obstacles, discouragements, and impossibilities. It is this that in all things distinguishes the strong soul from the weak.
That is a good quote, John.
Thomas Carlyle.
Thanks, Thomas, for the cool quote.
Yep.
I agree with that. There's a lot of P words. What are the words again?
Permanence, perseverance, and persistence in spite of all obstacles, discouragements, and impossibilities. It is this that in all things distinguishes the strong soul from the weak.
Yeah, I can see that. Because when you have an obstacle that's in front of you, a lot of times it's not even knowing the perfect plan. It's just trying things over and over and over again until you're able to actually overcome and destroy that obstacle that you're going through. There's that, what's the story? Thomas Edison went through hundreds of thousands or something like that of light bulbs before he actually made the light bulb. It was through failure that he actually learned.
Yeah.
And taking failure as a way to learn from it. We talk about it all the time, right? Failure, if if you fail and you don't learn anything from it, that's a true tragedy, right? But if you actually learn from something from your failure, then you didn't fail. You just had a learning experience.
Yeah, I mean, even Thomas Edison was known to say, like, no, I didn't fail. It's not that I failed 99 times how to make a light bulb, it's that I learned 99 times how not to make one.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just that, like, just that mentality of, like, even in the smallest things, because what I like is that he says that in all things distinguishes. So it's not just your biggest things that you are the most insecure about and constantly seem to get backed up in. Mm-hmm. Like, it's in the little things every single day, in all things. The biggest things that is going to separate the strong from the weak, it's just a persistence. It's just a decision that I will not give up. And persistence doesn't mean doing the same thing over and over again, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of people think I have to be persistent. I have to do the same thing and then do it again and then do it again and then do it again and then do it again. And then they keep on failing and they keep on falling short. I mean, I think a lot of people, especially in the weight loss world, can relate to this. They try the crash diet, and then they try the crash diet, and then they try the crash diet, and then they try the crash diet, and they keep on failing, and they think, oh, well, I just can't do it. Persistence doesn't mean trying that same thing over and over again. It means attacking the wall from different angles. It means stepping back, looking, there's a weak spot, let me go for that. Or it means stepping back and say, I don't feel good when I do this, so let me try it this way. A real stupid example, but that's what I'm good at. I don't drink water a lot. Like, I don't, and I need to drink more. And I realized that on my Hydro Flask, it's a spin-off cap, and it's like a big lid. And so when I drink it, it'll like go down my side of my mouth, get on my shirt. The process of like doing that is just super annoying. And so that is enough for me to be like, I just don't want to drink water. So you know what I did?
What'd you do?
I got a straw.
There you go. That's what I was hoping you would say.
Yeah, I got a straw, and I am way more consistent in drinking water with a straw.
So the moral of the story is, if you have any problems, go buy a straw.
If you're not able to handle just sipping out of the cup, you need to get a little boy straw for a little sip.
If you can't handle sipping, if you can't handle drinking from the cup of life without a sippy cup, there is nothing wrong with getting a straw and just handling it like a little infant.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, but like a little infant man.
With a beard.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I've actually heard a story. So as you guys know, I've been trying to read more, right? And I just finished, well, not just, but last week I finished Obstacles Away. Super proud of myself. It was really awesome. So if you haven't read that book, highly recommend that. But they actually have a story about Thomas Edison. I guess at some point in his career, his whole laboratory went up in flames. And the whole chapter was kind of about just accepting things as they are and moving on, right? So his whole thing went up in flames, and instead of like freaking out and pouting, because his laboratory was like had a bunch of crazy chemicals in it, the flames were like crazy colors. So he literally like got his neighbors and said, you guys need to go to the laboratory and watch the fire, because you're never going to see anything like this ever again. And he was like, just accepted it. Wow, that was like his life's work basically was completely gone, but he was like, it's gone. There's nothing I can do about it, so might as well enjoy the fire. So I just think that's cool. That was super random, but we started talking about Thomas Edison, and that was one of the things that popped into my head.
Yeah.
Also, I just started reading Can't Hurt Me. I think that's the name of it, by David Goggins. So David Goggins is somebody that he's one of my dream people to get on the podcast, because his story is unbelievable. Now, if we do get him on the podcast, we're definitely going to have an explicit rating for that episode, because he cusses a lot. So if you're not into cussing...
Or I would need to spend about 16 hours editing, fighting every cuss word.
Yeah, we would just have to let it fly, I think.
Yeah.
But it's really good. I'm really liking it. Like, I'll give it to you when I'm done. It's seriously, man. I'm you know how slow of a reader I am. The first time I read it, I read 45 pages of it. And that's like intense for me. I'm already like almost 100 pages in, I think. Nice. And I've read it a total of like 3 times. Like, that's just 3 sittings. And for me, like, my ADD and stuff like kicks in after usually like 3 pages. So yeah, it's really interesting.
Well, that's a lot for you too, because you've been reading it amidst your like crazy weekend, right?
Yeah. So this week, it was fun. It was a lot of fun, but it was crazy. So me and John, we both went to the LA Fit Expo, but we both had Yeah.
I went for 1 full day and then 2 travel days.
Yeah.
You went for...
Yeah, I was there. I left San Diego. It's in LA, so it's only like a 2.5 hour drive. I left here Wednesday, and I just got back literally. So today is Monday. I just got back like an hour ago. I went home, ate some oatmeal, and came straight here, and we're recording this podcast now. But it was a lot of fun. So I was staying in a house with I think it was 14 other content creators, YouTubers, Instagrammers. And then we actually only went to the expo for 1 day. And it was weird. It was definitely different because normally, so the LA Fit Expo normally is 3 days long, and then they switched it to 2 days long this year. And before I would go to every single day, and so instead of going to 3 days, I only went to 1 day this year, and it was interesting. I got stopped by a lot of people. I had really good conversations. That's the only reason I go to the expos. Like I don't have any sponsors or anything. Like I'm paying. I buy my own bracelet to get in. Right. Like most people are like get paid to be there. I'm just going because I want to meet people and like hang out.
Can I interrupt you for 1 second?
Go for it.
You said that the LA Fit Expo wasn't like a bodybuilding show.
Mm-hmm.
There was a big bodybuilding show in it.
Yeah, well,
I walked up and I'm like, freaking.
Yeah, well, I wasn't
David.
saying that they don't have bodybuilding shows there. I was saying that it's not like the Olympia. Like if you're the champion of the Olympia or the champion of the Arnold, it's a huge deal.
Yeah.
Like if you're
the champion, because it was the same company that gives away swords.
Yeah.
That you did once.
Swords.
I don't know what they're called. But
yeah,
so if you win that one, you get a pro card.
I'm assuming, I don't know. I don't know how that works.
Okay.
But yeah, so like a lot of the amateur shows, like winning and you get a pro card, which I guess you have to pay for. You get this card that you have to pay for.
Nice.
But yeah, it was a lot of fun, but it was pretty hectic. Actually, me and John had a little spat there at the expo. Not at the expo, but like afterwards. So me and John were planning on, I didn't tell him that I was going to say this, so I'm dropping this on him. But we planned on hopefully recording some episodes for the podcast at the house that I was staying at, again, staying with a bunch of people. And so I thought, okay, I'll have John bring up the podcast stuff because I'm going to be up there a few days early. There's no reason for me to have it. And John, he has the title of producer of the podcast, right? So it just made sense for him to have the stuff. So he came up, you were up on Saturday was your full day. Now, the issue we had was that we did not communicate that at all. We didn't talk about it. We just kind of said, we want to record podcasts, bring the podcast stuff up. Okay, cool. And I didn't know that he was leaving on Sunday early. So I thought that we could record on Sunday because on Saturday we're all at the expo the whole day, very busy, right? So then I was like telling the people at the house that I wanted to record with, like, hey, my brother's gonna be coming up on Sunday. I would love to hopefully record some stuff. Everyone was down, so it was gonna be awesome. Like I was really looking forward to it. John was really looking forward to it, but we didn't communicate well enough, and John ended up not being able to come up because he had to drive back down to San Diego, and he was just kind of annoyed with me because it was my fault that I didn't communicate a little bit better. Would you agree with that? Or do you want to take any of the blame? Do you want to just like
No, I don't want to take any blame.
Leave me here laying in the middle of the street and it was all your fault and you suck.
I think that there could have been more communication, and that to not have that communication was each of us takes ownership for that. And I think that for me it was like, okay, like you're staying there 5 days, like you have 5 extra days to talk to these people, you know? And so we just didn't communicate, and we even we had a plan. Like we have like if there's only one of us who can film, here's what we'll do. Mm-hmm. And so we have that plan, and we just didn't talk about it, didn't communicate it.
So the thing is, like, I should have brought this stuff earlier because that whole few days I was there, I could have been recording podcasts, little mini clips or whatever. But that didn't happen because I didn't have the equipment.
But now we know the benefit of this is now we know next time we go to a podcast or next time we go to an expo or we go to an event, it's going to be crazy. Mm-hmm. So I think that our priority has to be scheduling the podcast, and then the other things will go around it. You know what I mean? Like, I just know, like, I've listened to podcasts of people who are literally at events and they sit down and they do a podcast with someone, which is crazy. And that's a lot of commitment, and that's a lot of like grabbing that person, sitting down with them, having that time, thanking them, going. And like people will go, like at regionals, for example, RIP, people will go and like they'll just be like, my day is dedicated to finding people so I can interview them in podcast. And it's hard because we live this double role of podcaster, but also influencer on our own. I hate that term, but you know, like
Content
social
creator.
media, social media presence. Mm-hmm. So it's like there's an equal part where it's like, no, but I want to be there for people, but then also like I need to create like it's a weird dynamic that we just have to learn, and I think this was a good like it's not going to happen on accident.
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
Yeah, but Jean was definitely annoyed with me because I was not communicating enough, and I was like, "Yeah, just come up this time," and he was like, "I can't make it then," and I was like, "Why not? I have other things to do." All right.
Yeah. I have to come home and get ready for the week.
Yeah, and meanwhile, this is my job, so I'm just like, what do you mean, bro? I don't understand.
Yeah.
But yeah, so also at the at the expo, I made the best purchase I think I've ever made. I got some Crocs.
Oh, yeah.
I got some Crocs on Friday, the day before the expo, and everyone at the house did not believe that I was going to wear them to the actual expo, and I did, and it was great. Like I've never felt so comfortable at an expo as I did in those Crocs. And it says a lot because I remember how I used to be when I would go to expos. It was all about I want to look cool for the people that are going to come up to me or for the people I'm trying to impress. And I've literally gone from that to in about a year, I'm going to wear Crocs and long socks to this expo. And it was great. I'm really proud of myself.
What was the like most common reaction? Like what did people say?
People didn't react that much to it. Really. Honestly, like people didn't say much, and luckily it was funny because when I got to the expo, I like took a video for my Instagram story of me walking, and I had my Crocs on, right, and I said, "Come find me," and then people were coming up to me like, "I've been looking for the yellow Crocs all day," so it actually kind of worked out because people were able to find me by my shoes. But honestly, I never considered myself a Croc guy. Or, someone that would never wear them. But they are so comfortable. Jean, you like to wear the Birkenstocks, and those are like the cool version of Crocs. I'm convinced with that. That's like the cool hipster version of Crocs. That's all it is, and you like to think that you're so much better than me with my yellow Crocs. But can you put pins in your Birkenstocks? No, you can't.
You probably can, actually.
Okay, but it's not. You don't have holes in them for pins. I have a Donatello pin. I have a Kylo. The Kylo Ren pin fell out, I will admit. But then I have 3 other Star Wars pins. So I'm actually able to be comfortable and then share my love for Star Wars at the same exact time. Can you do that with your Birkenstocks?
I could probably.
No, you can't. All right, I don't want to hear it.
Not as conveniently,
exactly, and stylishly.
No.
Yes.
No.
Jean,
I will disagree. I will die.
Okay.
I will die.
Who is one of your favorite artists?
All I'm gonna say
Who is one of your favorite artists?
I don't know. What do you mean artists?
One of your favorite musical artists.
I have no clue.
His name is Post Malone.
Okay.
Did you know that he did a collaboration with Crocs? Do you think he's cool?
He's all right.
Yeah,
I wouldn't get a face tattoo.
That's where you're missing out, okay? Because I actually got a face tattoo as well.
Yeah, no.
But he wears Crocs and they're yellow, and so by association, I am very cool. And I probably have a great voice and I make great music. I just don't know yet because I haven't tried.
No, I think that he's doing it because they're so ugly. I'm just gonna.
I don't think he would ever do that. He's a very handsome gentleman.
So I can't do Crocs because I look for the thinnest shoes possible. Like that is like I just think that's just like a San Diego vibe. I don't know what it is, but like before when I was younger it was skate shoes, puffy shoes. But then once I started wearing Vans, it's like I can't even wear like regular shoes. Why do I always make fun of you for the rich running shoes? Because they're so fat and puffy.
Whatever.
Right? So like I like the look of the thinnest shoes possible. I'm wearing old school Vans right now.
Yeah, you are.
Very thin shoes. So the fact that Crocs are just so puffy, that alone is enough for me to be like, no, I don't want to freaking look like I'm an astronaut walking around with these big old feet.
But I wore them all day, the whole expo, and so after the expo, the whole group went and got food. I wore them to get food, and then I was invited to like a party for a brand that I'm might be working with soon, which I'm really excited about, which might actually come to fruition here on the podcast. So be on the lookout, guys, because it could be really cool. But they invited me to go.
Fruit of the Loom.
That's it. It was really cool.
In underwear and Crocs.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
No, but so I actually didn't have time to go back to our house because the place we were staying was like 40 minutes from downtown LA. So I was like, I'm going to have to go to this party in these Crocs. And I went to the party in the Crocs. It was at a brewery thing, right? Which was, I don't drink or anything like that. So I was just like, man, this is weird. But I was wearing Crocs there too. And people didn't say anything about it. So you know, and I also made another great purchase that I feel really good about, and it's this right here.
You have literally been waiting to do that, though.
It's a little sound machine. It's a little red sound machine, and I have 16 different things. So you know how I feel when you make fun of my Crocs? It makes me so sad.
Oh my gosh. Sounds like those old school like radio stations.
Yeah.
But because I'm a mature adult, the first thing I'm going to ask you is there a fart one?
Don't you think that it was a great idea?
Okay.
Don't worry, I won't overuse it.
Yeah.
And I just, when I saw it, we were at Target the first day that we got there, buying food and stuff like that. Man, it is crazy how much trash 16 people or 15 people can accumulate. Like, the amount of times we had to take out the trash, that was random. But so we all went to Target, right, to get food and stuff like that for the Airbnb because there's like no food there, and we all like, it's not like we want to eat out all the time, right? So we were like walking around, and then one of the people I was there with, they were like, "You should get that for the podcast." And at first, I was like,
gosh.
"So if you're just listening, it's this little red sound machine. It's literally the size of, it's like smaller than an iPhone. It has 16 different sounds that I can make on it." And at first, I was like, "No, that's stupid." And then we were walking away, and like 5 minutes later, I was like, "I'm gonna go back and get that sound machine," because all I could think about was it. And I just think it's gonna be. I just think it's funny.
You're just going to randomly.
It's just gonna be sitting here. I'm not gonna use it too much, or actually, it's gonna be sitting right in front of me. But I think it's great. I think it's a great addition, and that is almost as good of a purchase as the Crocs were. So, but yeah, it was great. I love going, but like in a serious note, I love going to the expos to just like genuinely, it's just to meet people that tell me their stories and like are excited to see me. And I love when people will come up and say they listen to the podcast. That makes me very, very happy. And I've actually been listening to a good amount more podcasts now. I'm trying to like, get into it to just see what I like and stuff like that. And so on the drive up there, I listened to the Relevant podcast, which is like a Christian-based podcast. And then
like my favorite one.
Yeah, it's good. But it was funny, man. They got me. I will say they got me. So the name of the podcast was Levi Lesko, who's he's an author that I like, right? You know how long they talked to him in this podcast?
Like 6 minutes.
3 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
You know how long the podcast was?
Like an hour.
An hour and a half.
Yeah.
But I was fine with it because there's like 6 people that are talking. So it's like fun to listen to. But I was like, once they were done talking to him and they were like, I was like, wait, what just happened? I got tricked.
Yeah.
But it was fine. So I listened to that, and then on the way back, I listened to Couples Therapy, which is Casey Neistat and his wife's podcast, which was fun. It's completely different. I mean, 2 totally different podcasts. But
Podcast that I listened to.
But yeah, I think that's about all I have to say for the weekend. What about you? Who'd you go up with? Who'd you stay with, and stuff like that?
So I went up with my girlfriend Sam. She's been on this podcast. You guys know her. And then I went up with your roommates. Because
yeah, you did. You went up with my roommates.
Yeah, it was a good time. And then also Big Mike from Utah, who
he makes me laugh. That's why I did
that. And so went up with them. And
if you guys could see his face when I did that, he was not impressed with me. Even slightly.
Not even a little bit.
If looks could kill, I would be dead like 4 minutes ago.
Yes. So stayed with Mike, and then didn't stay with Mike, but that was like our crew. And we went to a museum on Friday, and then we were driving for like 6 hours because we got stuck in after work traffic in LA, and it was a terrible, terrible, terrible time. And then Saturday we did the expo all day, and then we went to dinner afterwards. And then Sunday, we got ready and we drove home. And then Sam and I did a type 1 diabetes meetup.
Yeah, tell me about that. What was that like?
It was cool. It was this guy, he's never done a meetup before. He's from Florida. He was visiting San Diego and was just like, oh, I'll do a meetup. And then like...
It was in San Diego?
Yeah. Or no. Huntington Beach.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. He was in Southern California.
Who is this guy? Is he like an influencer or something like that? Is he like a diabetic influencer?
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean,
it's crazy. There's influencers for literally everything.
Yeah, he's got like 13,000 followers. There's someone else there who's got like 20,000 followers. He's like a Rock Tape ambassador because Rock Tape has some like diabetes like tapes and stuff. It's
diabetes tapes?
like to keep the thing on
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The
The sensor that goes on people's arms.
because Sam wears that to check her blood pressure.
Yeah.
Blood
sugar. Yeah.
blood pressure.
Blood pressure, yeah. So that was, I mean, it was cool. It was fun. It was just super chill. It was just kind of nice. Like, I've got CrossFit, YouTube, Instagram. It's like kind of my hobby and thing I do, and people come up to me and we have a community and it's super fun. So it was really cool to go to an event and then have it be for her, you know?
Well, that's like it's crazy how nice it is to be around people that can relate to you. So like that's why I like doing the house that we do, because we've done it for the past, like, it used to be called the YouTube house, and then Brian was the one that would always set it up, and now he does one that's like strictly for like vegan people, which is fine, because the first YouTube house was around the LA Fit Expo, or no, the second one was, and then we did the one after that was around the LA Fit Expo, and then but since he switched it, we still wanted to do that, right? And so the reason that we do that is literally just to be around people that have similar interests. It's just so nice to be able to connect with people that have, I mean, it's like anything, right? When you go to the gym, it's nice to be around people at the gym because they have similar things. And for me, it's like, it's the mixture of everything that I enjoy, which is, you know, working out, filming yourself, making content, podcasts, whatever it might be. All of you guys in a house, because you can I learn so much every time I'm there, and like what I'm doing wrong and like what I can be getting better at, you know what I mean? Because it, like, YouTube, being a YouTuber is obviously like, it's pretty popular, but it's not like I'm around a ton of YouTubers. Like when you work at Starbucks, you're around other people that work at Starbucks because that's where you work, right? Yeah. When you're a YouTuber, most of the time, like, I'm lucky because I have you and we're able to talk about stuff, and then when I'm able to see Brian, but other than that, I can talk to my friends and like to my roommates about what I'm going through, but they don't really understand it, right? Yeah. Because they're not actually doing it. So it's just really nice to be around that. And it's always hard leaving, like, because I just left today, and it's like when you're driving away, you just have like this empty feeling in your stomach. And it used to be really bad, like when I would come back from the events, because I would go on such a high being there, like being around people, and then it would be like, and then I was coming home and alone all day long. And now, luckily, we have the office, we have the gym here, and I'm around people more, and I think it's going to be a lot better. I have my girlfriend and stuff like that, so I'll have people that I'm actually seeing. But yeah, it's just nice, like, having that, and I'm assuming she probably felt the same way. You know what I mean? Like, she's around people that understand her struggles or whatever it is. You know?
Yeah, and the community is growing. Like, there was a couple people who were like, "Yeah, I've had diabetes for like 20 years, and I've never been to a meetup before." You know. And so it's like the beauty of like social media is that it's connecting people who relatively can feel alone, and they can feel like they don't have anyone who's going through them. And everyone always like poops on social media, and they're always like, "Oh, it's degrading our generation, and millennials are having hunchback problems and they don't know how to connect." And it's like, I don't see that. I obviously know that there's a problem with social media. Like, I get that. And there's also a problem with people taking sleeping pills, right? And there's also a problem with people who are way too obsessed with healthy eating, right? Like, everything.
I get where you're going with this, yeah.
Everything to the extreme is bad.
Yeah.
And social media is new. So we don't know boundaries yet, but we're getting there.
Think about when like TV came out.
Right.
Like, it's melting your mind. And like if you watch too much TV, you're probably not, all your other areas of your life are completely off balance. Yeah. But like, if you're able to like watch your favorite episode of you're able to watch one episode of Game of Thrones and then be like, okay, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, exactly.
Know? And so if you're spending, and I think part of it too is that like we can relate to this. So for some people, social media isn't just like social media. It's like, oh, this is also my job too. So it's like, oh, you're always on your phone, but it's like, but I'm not just being on my phone to waste time. It's like, this is my whole, this is job. This is work.
Yeah.
You know?
But and then that's where the temptation, or that's when the line can be drawn about, well, are you being productive or are you just zoning out?
Yeah,
right?
We talked about that before, yeah.
Yeah. So everyone is crammed down their throat the downsides of social media and the problem with people looking at their phone. What they're not hearing is the fact that Sam and other people in other communities are meeting and engaging and like connecting with people who, through the limit of space, haven't ever connected before, right? Like, if this person was from Florida, other people lived in Huntington Beach and Irvine, and like, we're not just going to randomly find them. Like the beauty of that social media, network or whatever is the fact that it was able to connect those people, and like so many people with like different communities with like it started early with chat room days, and everyone didn't trust chat rooms, but I remember being on like Taking Back Sunday chat rooms and just literally talking about the band Taking Back Sunday when I was in junior high, and like just that ability to where that was never able to happen before. Like there is so much good that can come out of it. And I think that it's dangerous when you take anything and you put an absolute, this is bad,
Yeah, of course,
on it in anything, right? Now, there are some things that are inherently bad, and you kind of have to choose, like, okay, for your life. And this is like good for anyone in any circumstance. Like when something comes into your life, like social media or whatever, you can reject it and just be like, nope, not for me, not doing it. I don't want anything to part of it. You can receive it as it is 100%, and that is getting addicted to it, that is whatever. Or you can redeem it. Like you can say, these are the qualities that I like, and these are what it's going to help me move myself forward. These are qualities I don't really like, so I'm not going to accept those, and I'm not going to allow them. And so I think so many people are like, receive it as it is 100% or reject it as it is 100%. And like, in your life, look at the ways that you can redeem that situation, that circumstance, and make it fit your life. And you're not gonna be like caught and swayed by like, this is evil, this is evil, this is bad. Like, understand who you are. How is it gonna help you move forward?
Yeah, and I mean, I think there's something to be said about, I think you can realize that you might be spending too much time on social media, or realize that it's not good for you and it's not conducive to you. And if that means you have to take a step back and delete your accounts or whatever, I think that's fine too. You know, like if you feel like you're becoming addicted, that's the step that you should probably take, right? Is like, I need to delete this, and then after a few weeks think, okay, do I need this back in my life? Was there any good that I was getting out of it, or was it all a negative?
Yeah.
And then you can decide, do I want to come back? Do I not want to come back? And that's kind of a personal decision, really.
Yeah, I was thinking about it recently, sometime today, how like you got to get drastic. Like you have to get drastic with things that you want to see change. A lot of people think that they can like change their life, but then still kind of flirt with those things. And it's like, no, like if your morning routine is wake up, get ready, go to work, on your way to work, there's a McDonald's. So you eat you eat like a, whatever you get in the morning at McDonald's. I don't even know, hash browns and something.
McGriddles.
McGriddle. There you go. Yeah.
Ooh.
So
McGriddles.
if that's your routine and then you get to work, like, you know what you're going to have to do? You're going to have to find a new way to get to work. Like, change a route. Do something so that you're not passing that McDonald's every day. Make a healthy substitution. Like, create a different habit that fills that spot. Because if you just, like, cut it and then go, I'm going to keep on driving by that McDonald's, guess what? You're going to be thinking about that every single time. And sometimes you might even turn in without even thinking about it. And, you know? And so, like, you have to get drastic if you want to see change in your life. And so many people, and we were talking about this last week or sometime, how like you need balance. Like you can't look at the games athletes and be like, that's exactly what I'm going to do, because they are unbalanced. And so maybe not to that degree, but like there are things in your life that you're going to have to cut out, and people are going to be like, oh, it's not, oh, wow, you're into fitness. But like, yeah, like right now, in order to make this habit stick, I have to do this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So like, it's funny that you say that. So I was actually I did like a long video. So like the reason I recorded this video was because we weren't able to film the podcast, right? So I was like, but I still wanted to record a video with some of the people at the house. So I actually ended up recording a video with like 5 different people that have lost over 100 pounds. It's like, I'm really excited about it. So it'll be up by the time this podcast is up, or like right after, right? And we actually talked about that a little bit. The way I like to kind of look at your life is like, say you have like 15 cups in front of you, and you have a pitcher, and that pitcher is like your willpower and the amount of like time you can give to certain things. And if you filled up each cup a quarter of the way, then that will like empty the pitcher, right? But if you want to focus on other things, like if you want to pour more into a certain cup, then that's fine. But other things are going to you're not going to be able to focus on those things as much. So when it comes to like weight loss and stuff like that, a lot of people, I think they feel like they need, because one of my favorite words is sustainability. I've said it a million times and I still really stand by that. But I think at some point you have to be like, I'm going to be a little bit off balanced because I'm focusing on my health right now. I'm focusing on staying in the caloric deficit. I'm focusing on learning about nutrition. I'm focused on that. So you're going to be pouring more water into that cup from the pitcher. But the beauty of it is that you can always take water out of the cup, pour it back in the pitcher, and realign things, rebalance things. So I think that if you feel like you might be spending too much time on yourself when you're losing weight or when you're getting into fitness, just understand that that's kind of what it takes if you want to excel at something. Because if you want to fill all of them up to a quarter, you're going to be like a jack of all trades, but you're never going to master anything. So I don't think there's anything wrong with putting a lot of extra time into something to get really good at it, right? Because that's how you get really good at anything. So especially when it comes to like weight loss and nutrition and stuff like that. But eventually you'll be able to pour that water back into the pitcher and then realign things. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's almost like a alignment of priority, right? Like people always say, instead of saying, oh, I'm busy, I can't do that, say like, it's not a priority, right? It's the same thing. Like you only have a limited amount of time, right? And so the things that you end up spending your time on become your priorities, even if it's not important to you, right? Like you can make social media, again, I'm bashing on social media after I was just talking about it, but like you can make social media a priority, even though it's not important to you. Mm-hmm. You can make your new favorite TV show on Netflix a priority, even though it's not important. Like,
it's not going to help you grow.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's like the trick is like, can you find a way to align your priorities with things that matter and things that are important to you? And if you don't know what matters and what's important to you, then you're going to have a really hard time trying to align your priorities because you're going to be, it's not a goal. It's like there's nothing you're aiming for. So then in that circumstance, I would recommend like you got to step back and you have to make a list of the 5 things that are most important to you. And if you come up with 25, cut that down. You know what I mean? Like then try to combine some like, oh, well, this and this are kind of the same thing. And that's this word, whatever. But like you can do one thing excellent. You can do 2 things really well. You can do 3 things good, 4, 5, 6, like you're just gonna end up feeling like you're falling behind and you're not doing anything well. Mm-hmm. And that's not a fun feeling to always feel like you're trying to catch up and you're behind. So if you can align your priorities with what's important to you, you're gonna really notice like a spearhead in that thing that's important to you. And that's kind of like what you're saying. Like you're gonna be adding more water to the thing that matters in that moment. So if it's really important for you to lose 50 pounds, sure, like put a lot of effort and make a big priority in that, knowing that eventually when you hit that goal, all right, now you're on the maintain train, like it's going to be a little bit easier.
Maintain train.
Yeah, you know? And so that's kind of what I think of. Like it's very similar with time and priorities.
The way that we actually got it was brought up was we were talking about like regaining weight after you get into a relationship, because a lot of people, when you lose a significant amount of weight, you're single. Like that's just what I've noticed. Mm-hmm. Unless you have a partner with you that's losing weight with you or is very, very supportive of that, a lot of us are single when we're doing it because you're able to, like I said, fill that cup all the way up. I'm losing weight. That's what I care about. Yeah. And then you get into a relationship and you're like, wait, I need to take some of the water out of this cup and add it to, relationships. Mm-hmm. And then you end up maybe adding too much to relationships because let's be real, a lot of people that lose a significant amount of weight, a big reason you want to do that is because you want to get into a relationship. Yeah. Like all the people that were in the video, we talked about that. It's a big priority of yours. So once you get into the relationship, it's really easy to take that water out of the cup. And a lot of times we take too much water out of the cup and then put all the water into relationship because this is like, it's like you hit the goal. Like I'm losing weight a lot of us won't admit it, but I'm losing weight to get into a relationship. Mm. And so
that kind of goes along with like, not to interrupt, but saying like,
well, you already did, so it's okay.
So like you have to replace habits. You have to. And so maybe you were totally fine, you were totally okay, you were overweight or whatever, and you had these habits in your life. You broke up, and then you started the process to lose weight. But then as soon as you got in your relationship again, you never replaced those other habits, like the date places you would go to, your idea of Netflix and chill. Like, you never switched those habits. So all you're doing is you're resorting back to what you did before, because that's, oh, well, when I'm in a relationship, this is how I act. And you know what I mean? So it's like, it's habit replacement.
And a big thing that I think is important, if you are in that relationship and you really love the person, but you're gaining weight and you're like, this is not okay with me, is to have that conversation with the person and be like, yo, this is not okay with me. It's nothing against you, but like, we need to figure things out. And like, you know, you don't have, obviously don't put all the blame on the other person. It's not their fault. It's your fault much.
Yeah, don't put any blame on them.
Yeah. And you need to be like, but you need to have that conversation because then they have the option of supporting you, because now they know, right? So now they have the option of either supporting you or being like, that's not what I want. You know what I mean? And if that's not what they want, just break it off, because there is, from what I've seen, like, there is no way that you are continuing a relationship and you're trying to lose weight if the person isn't completely supportive, or at least empathetic to your needs and is willing to help you. If they're just like always annoyed when you're trying to go to the gym, always annoyed when you're, you know, like, I don't want to go out to eat because I have my meal prep or whatever like that, it's just not going to work. And it's not making that other person a bad person.
Yeah.
It's just that they're not the right person for you at the time.
Yeah.
You know?
Did you listen to the podcast where Boogie was on H3H3?
I think I did, yeah. So Boogie, if you don't know who Boogie is.
Yeah, so Boogie, he's a YouTuber. He covers like gaming and pop culture and whatever.
He's been really popular for a long time. He did the character Francis.
Yeah.
So like he used to be very, very overweight in the 500s, and he would like rage and freak out about video games, and he had like a lisp, and he would like yell and stuff like that. And so he's a YouTuber that has millions of subscribers, and he's lost a good amount of weight. Like, I think it's like 200 pounds by getting gastric bypass.
Yeah, and he's still on the journey. He's still going. But he was on
I love that guy.
H3H3 podcast, and
I love them too.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I brought it. It's like kind of our space, right?
Yeah.
And so he was talking about when he was in a relationship, and the girl was like, I don't know what the word is. She's turned on by
She's a feeder.
Yeah, feeder.
Yeah.
There you go. And so
that
like,
stuff is wild, man.
Right? Yeah.
Oh.
And the stories he was telling, just about like, he was not happy with himself. He did not like himself, but she kept on like literally feeding him, you know, feeding into that.
But literally feeding
him.
him.
Exactly. Like, and so again, like, that's an extreme example. Obviously this was before he lost the weight. That was his like impetus to gain so much weight. It was like, oh, well, this girl's with me and she's wanting me to eat, so I don't want to lose her. So, and eventually got to the point where he was like, I don't want to do this. Like, I don't want to be this.
Yeah.
And then she was like, all right, well then it was like, he was like, either we stop this
or we're done.
Yeah. And then she was like, all right, cool, I'm going to pack my bags.
Yeah.
You know, and so
I just want to go on this feeder thing because I remember when I was bigger, I felt like that the only like way I could almost like be in a relationship with because like even when I was heavier, I've never been really attracted to very, very overweight women. Like even when I was morbidly obese, right? And so like in my head, I always thought like the only way I'm going to be able to be with a girl that in my eyes is my type is by them like being into that. And honestly, like I don't think I could do that. I don't think I could ever be in a relationship where like the only reason they're with me is some sort of fetish thing. Like it's so weird. Like the fact that there are people that like there's like videos on YouTube where there's people that get really turned on of the fact of feeding somebody so much that they're immobile and they're now completely dependent on the person that's feeding them. Like that's a thing that they're into. I was watching a video where this lady was like 600 pounds and she has a goal of getting to 1,000 pounds, right? And the guy he's this pretty slender dude.
Yeah. He often is like a person who's like kind of fit or, you know.
Yeah, or at least not morbidly obese, right? He is like excited about that fact. And the thing, like at first, like watching the video, I was like, whatever. This is like, they're not hurting anybody. They're just doing their thing. But in the video, man, they ask her like, well, what about your health, right? Like, aren't you worried about your health? And then she just makes these excuses, and I was just, I can't do this video anymore. She's like, well, you know, I make sure I watch the sodium, and, you know, I try not to eat anything too unhealthy. But I mean, she's 600 pounds.
Yeah.
And she's like, she literally, like, she couldn't even open her drawers. She was using like a one of the garbage grab things.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, once I got there, I was like, no, you just, come on. Like, it's fine. It's fine if you're like, I don't care about I don't care about my health. I don't care that I'm being this way. Then I would be like, cool. You know what I mean? But like, the fact that you can have so much denial and be like, no, I'm trying to get to 1,000. There's no way you're getting to 1,000 pounds in a healthy way.
Yeah.
It's just not, it doesn't matter how much sodium you cut out of your diet. You are eating thousands and thousands of calories over your maintenance. That's not healthy. And not moving. Like, if your goal is to literally be immobile, that is unhealthy.
Yeah.
But yeah, the whole feeder thing. I was just watching videos on it recently, and I'm like, whoa, that stuff is crazy. And like, I really thought, but I remember thinking, I don't want that. Like, I don't want the reason someone's with me is just because of my size and the fact that they want me to get bigger. That is not something I was into at all. But you know, if you're into it, that's fine. But it's not healthy, is all I'm saying.
It's interesting, like, I don't want to, like, hang out on this topic at all.
It's weird, yeah.
Yeah, but, like, it's very interesting what the extent people will go to make things that are not normal and not good,
Mm-hmm.
so they don't feel judged. And it's like, I don't want, like, this is a little tricky area
Yeah,
that I don't want to get too deep into.
Yeah,
but
we might get some people mad at us here.
But it's just like there is a spectrum, and most of the spectrum is fine. You know, like, cool. Like, you just want to spend your time like gaming and not do anything. Fine. You want to spend your time gaming and working out. Fine. You want to spend your time working out and whatever. Like, there's a spectrum, right? Like, of things you can do and things you can't do. But then there are those extremes in everything where it's like they just try to go like, no, this is just normal. This is fine. And it's like, man, like, and it's almost like it's warfare. It's never like, no, cool, whatever. Like, you don't think it's fine. Let's chill. Like, I'm going to keep on doing it. It's like straight up warfare to make everyone else think this is fine when it's like not.
Yeah. Like, it's, I mean, everyone, there's always people are going to try and rationalize where they are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, I did it. I used to say that I'm born to be big. I don't eat that much. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's hard to, if you're not completely ready for changing, like, you're probably not ready to accept the reality of where you are, especially if it's like somewhere you're not happy to be. And if you're not ready to really do, because like, we actually talked about this in that video that I filmed recently. Like, most of us know exactly what we need to do to kill it in every aspect of our life. We do. Even if it's like, I need to learn more about this thing so I can kill it, right? Like, I need to, most of us know that, but obviously we can't put 100% effort into everything that we're doing. And so I don't know where I was going with that. What just happened? I just completely lost train of my thought. What did you say right before that?
I was just talking about how we justify everything.
Yeah. So it's like, we know what we can do to lose weight. Everyone knows, eat, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Eat less, move more. To what extent? Obviously, that depends, right? If you don't know, you know that you need to do research to find that out. It's the information is out there. The internet is a thing, right? And so a lot of us most of us want to seek the path of least resistance instead of the path of like however much work I need to do. I know what I need to do to kill this aspect of my life. And so I think that's like, if you're not completely 100% ready to be like, I'm ready to kill this, it's easier to rationalize your position where you are now. There we go. Wow. I was like, what just happened? I'm completely lost. But yeah, I mean, again, I know you didn't want to stay on that topic for too long, but
No.
it's just, it's crazy, man.
And here's the thing. The only reason I don't want to stay on the topic is because I don't want people to get mad. And like, that right there is exactly what they want. Like, you know, like them or whatever. But like, the idea of like, if you can be angry and vocal and loud enough about a subject, people will shut up about it because they just don't want to deal with your like anger and your annoyance. So it's like, that's like this like tolerance culture is just like, don't be too strong about any opinion because you might offend someone and then you're going to have to hear it. And it's like, man, like we have to be willing to stand up for some thing, just one thing, like choose one thing that you're like passionate about and stand up for it. You don't need to be like, you don't need to have a strong opinion about every single thing because then that's when you get unhealthy and then that's when you like,
Nobody likes that person.
nobody likes that person. Right. But if you can't have an opinion about anything,
yeah, that's not good.
like that's just, you're the opposite direction. You're a pushover, like not a correlation, but I'm going to bring it together anyway.
Okay,
like,
here we go. Let's see.
when Bob Marley was shot on stage and he was shot earlier today and then he still did a concert that night. He was like, hate isn't taking a day off, so why should I? Or something along those lines where it's like if you think, well, I don't want to offend anyone, so I'm not going to stand for anything, they win. You know, like your opinion is not being heard. Your stance is not being heard. The people who are against it are very loud. You lose. By not taking a stand, you lose. And so, like, for me, I'm so mad about it and so passionate about it because something I struggle with. Like, I don't want to hurt someone's feelings.
Yeah, I'm the same way. 100%.
I don't want to, like, make someone's day bad. But at the same time, like, I don't want to become so worried about what everyone thinks about every single opinion that I don't have one on my own.
Yeah.
Like, I want to be able to stand on my own 2 feet with what I believe confidently and then let it come what may. Like, let that shake out as it happens. And if that offends you, you posted a video recently. Oh, I didn't talk to you about this, and so I want to talk to you about it.
Oh gosh, what did I do?
Yeah, you posted a video recently, and it was your first day at the YouTube house. Or what's it called? LA Fit Expo house.
Yeah.
And for 3 seconds, you said, and this morning I read my Bible and journaled, and then I bought, and that was it. That was the only Christianity, in quotes, that you talked about in the entire video. And then I was like, oh, let me scroll in these comments. A lot of it was like, wow, so grateful you're talking about your faith. Wow, so encouraged. Wow. And it's like,
Why is that the voice they have?
because it's like, you didn't really, you just said you read your Bible. It was 3 seconds, right?
Well,
like, there are people.
To be fair, in the video I said, I'm not trying to make this all about.
Yeah.
So I said that too in the video.
Exactly.
So just saying.
So there is even a caveat there.
Yeah.
You even had that, like a disclaimer.
Yeah.
And then, but
I haven't read any of the comments on this video, by the way,
what
so I
was
don't know
funny
what you're going to bring up.
is you leave a disclaimer and then you said, I read my Bible. It wasn't even like a crazy offensive statement, right? Comments, wow, so glad, so glad, so glad. A lot of people were like, don't be ashamed, don't be ashamed. And that's cool. And then someone was like, I just want to let you know that when I was younger, I was like hurt by a Christian person or something. And so the fact that you brought up Christianity really just like brought me back to that place and blah, blah. And it's just like, okay, we have to be sympathetic. For sure that person went through something. But you said, I read my Bible this morning. You didn't say, Jesus Christ is the way. If you don't believe,
you're burning in hell. Yeah.
Like, you didn't say any of that. You didn't say, I really believe that if you want a healthy life, you have to be a Christian. Like, you didn't say anything like that. You said, I read my Bible this morning. And it was enough to trigger someone.
Yeah, like the way first of all, I didn't even know that happened because like I said, I haven't read any of the comments yet.
There's another one.
Okay, what's
Can
the
I
other one?
Can I talk about it?
Yeah, sure.
It's kind of like a punch to the gut.
What?
Someone was like, because you have your like videos where you talk about like your penis growing. Okay, whatever. Is that explicit? Just kidding.
Penis is that is the scientific word for your wiener.
And so someone was like, it's really funny how you can make one video claiming to be a Christian, another video about sexual blah blah.
Well, hey man, I'm not perfect. I'm not gonna act like
exactly.
Yeah.
And so I try not to, but I left a comment.
Oh my gosh, don't do that. Why do you do that?
I don't know. That one just got me so mad.
What'd you say?
I said something like,
did you swing on him?
No, I literally was just like, hey man, like, can you just let us all know what it's like to be perfect? You know, like something like that. Because
it's so passive aggressive.
But it's just like, seriously, dude.
Yeah, I mean, the way I think of it, like I've been on YouTube for 4 years now, and I've gone through my ups and downs with my faith. So, you know, there's videos that I made at some point that I wouldn't make now.
Yeah.
Like that's one of them. But I made it, and I'm not just gonna be like, no, I'm gonna delete it because I don't want people to, you know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. Like, I'm not perfect, but yeah, it's. But the thing that's funny is like that doesn't like what that comment, it doesn't bother me like about about what they've been through is like talking about like that's the thing is like I get so nervous about offending other people, but I don't get offended that easily. Like if someone says like CrossFit's dumb, it's not like I'm like I need to prove to them that it's not, or I need to prove to them that it's okay, or like even if people make fun of my loose skin, it's like whatever. Like I just don't care. But it's funny because I'm on the complete opposite. It's like, I don't care, but I don't want to offend anybody. So I'm like always tiptoeing around things. But yeah, totally.
It's weird, man. How do you like have an opinion and share it, but not offend people? And then it's like here's how. Your opinion has to match exactly what culture is telling you what it needs to match. And if you don't match that, it's like, oh, well, we're accepting of all ideas except for the ideas that are against our ideas, because then you're obviously wrong because you don't agree with everyone. And it's like, since when has the right idea been following what everyone believes? Like, since when has that been the like barometer of here's a good idea? It's what everyone's doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I have a story.
Okay.
So we were talking about chat rooms for a second. Do you want to know what I used to do?
I absolutely do want to know what you used to do.
So it was a AIM, right? Chat rooms. I used to go in chat rooms. It would be like similar, like Taking Back Sunday or whatever, skateboarding or something, And then you would do ASL, right? Age, sex, location. And they would ask me that. And I would just lie.
I would always tell the truth.
I would catfish so bad.
Oh my gosh.
And so at the time, I think I was like 9. I don't know how old I was.
I was 12.
I would say I was 13.
Uh-huh.
And I would say I was a male, and I would say where I'm from, actually, because San Diego is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But then we would start talking, and I would like, I have abs. I have blonde hair. It's really long in my face, like emo stuff. But I used to just straight up catfish people, and like I'm sure if I remember, I had like straight up like relationships in quotes with like random people. I wouldn't be surprised if I was talking to a 40-year-old dude. That like you know what I mean? Like I 100% was so. I almost met up with someone from a chat room in real life. Not I didn't almost do it. Like I had no intentions of it actually happening, but they were trying to get me to meet with them. And I remember thinking, no way. That's weird. But like if like that's crazy. I'm just complete tangent, but when you brought up chat rooms, it just brought me back to that time.
In middle school, I had a relationship with a girl named Haley Jane. And she was from Arizona. We met through Instant Messenger. She didn't exist. She was someone at my school who had created this like fake couple people and then was like chatting with my group of friends, and they were in my group of friends. Like it was this weird, demented thing.
Did you ever find out who it was?
Yeah, I did.
Who was it?
I'm not going to call him out.
Why not?
But
was it a guy or a girl?
It was a girl.
Okay.
Veronica Kelly. Oh, dang it. Shoot, I didn't mean
Veronica, if you're listening to the podcast.
Yeah, I didn't mean to do last name. But like that was when we found that out, like it was like a couple months. You're a little middle schooler, you don't know things. Oh, okay. Yeah. You want to switch it out?
Yeah.
Okay. Give us 1 second. Okay. Never mind. Our camera died, and so we have to switch our cameras out. But
professional podcasters.
Yep. But here's what I'm going to say. Like, being a middle schooler and getting so deceived was like the weirdest, most uncomfortable thing. And I think that kind of like turned me off to like online culture for a little bit. The fact that someone would totally 100% like fake an entire persona and community, because she had friends. My online girlfriend had friends that they would talk to, and all of them were fake.
How did you figure out that it was her?
I was the one who started asking questions. Oh, what middle school did you say you go to? Oh, what did you say? Oh, who's that person hanging out with? Like, oh,
did you ever confront her in person?
Yeah, I think so.
Do you remember how that went?
Yeah, we didn't talk to her anymore.
You guys were just like, all right, you're weird.
Yeah,
you're out.
It literally was like, this was really weird. We want you to know
so
that.
Weird.
Yeah,
That's so weird.
And it was the group of friends like Autumn.
Yeah,
Heather,
I
Lolly.
remember them.
Yeah.
I tried to get accepted by them.
Yeah,
Pretty
yeah.
hard. They used to call me Lampshade.
I do remember that because your long hair was really long.
Yep. All right, so you asked some questions on your Instagram, didn't you?
I
or
did.
You asked people to ask us questions?
Yeah, I was like,
that?
hey, what do you guys want to hear? And so we've got these ideas for eventual pod. Oh, gosh, here you go.
Let's hear the first question.
I apologize profusely to everyone. All right, this one, I'm not the one who asked it, but it's kind of weird. I mean, it's not weird. It's something that is kind of unspoken.
Okay.
Why aren't there? This is from a. Why aren't there more black people who do CrossFit? That's the very first question.
Wow. Who asked that?
I'm black, and I tried. Most gyms are whiter.
It's true.
It's true,
and I hate that it's true.
I
will
hate
say
that it's true.
Like, it.
I don't know what it is. I don't know why. I wish I could tell you.
And I feel like it's like a can of worms that I'm not like. It's something that I like. It kind of bums me out, and I really wish that there were. I would just wish there was a more different group of people that did CrossFit, because it's definitely like there's
like
we can't sit here and lie and be like, no, it's not mostly white, because 100%.
100%. And the part of it is that a lot of movements favor someone who's 185, 190, about 5'9", 5'10" for a male. Like a lot, like wall ball, like all these movements. Like the most ideal person is that kind of weight. Imagine the Matt Frasers, Rich Fronings, these past Ben Smith. They're all relatively same weight, relatively same height. So it's like to be good at that, like that's kind of the not ideal, because you still have Brent Fikowski, you still have those outliers. It's like, but there is definitely a trend of the body type that seems to adapt well to CrossFit movements. But I think it's just like it's a culture thing. I think like
I honestly don't know how to answer it.
Yeah.
Like I wish I knew, but I have no idea. And
Yeah.
it really does. Like we have a couple black people here that go to the gym, and like they're some of my closest friends. You know what I mean? But there's definitely not that many. You know?
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I wish I knew, but
I didn't want to like just avoid that question though.
But yeah,
you know
I mean, geez, man, drop that on me.
Yeah. Okay. Someone said that you really want to talk about people who sell fat burners.
No, we don't need to get into that. I've talked about that enough.
Yeah. Someone said, talk about body dysmorphia. I feel like we talk about that a good amount, and I think we talked a little bit about it on this one.
Well, that's like, I mean, it's super prevalent in people that have lost a lot of weight.
Because it's super prevalent, not just in people who lost a lot of weight, but people who have really perfect bodies.
Yeah.
Like we don't, and this is what we talked about. Like we don't we look at the Instagram and the YouTube people who are just amazing, and they have incredible bodies, and like they're like literal goals. But you don't realize like they literally are struggling with a huge one right now is what's it called? Orthorexia.
Orthorexia. Yeah.
Where you need to eat healthy. You cannot not eat healthy. Or they're dealing with like,
or they're straight up photoshopping their pictures.
Photoshopping.
It's not even real.
Or they're dyslexic, or they're anorexic, or
dyslexic.
Dyslexic. Yeah.
Or they really are not good at reading.
Yeah. No, what am I thinking of?
Bulimic.
Bulimic.
Dyslexic. They have ADD, baby.
I mean, I love that a lot of people ask, and I feel bad because I want to answer more of these, but we're kind of like, hitting.
Let's go for it, man. I don't care. We don't
right.
have to be exactly on an hour. We can go a little bit extra. Give people what they want. More minutes of us talking our stupid faces off.
Yep. All right. So one of them asked, "Is it better to build an engine or is it better to build strength?"
I think you can do both at the same time. To be honest, but I think like it's. So what does Ben Bergeron say, right? Like, it takes years to build strength. So that's something that you should focus on. Like, at first, like, you should be focused on your strength, because you can always build an engine in a few hours. So, like, or a few hours, in a few months. A few hours, that's pretty intense. But, yeah, I think that a lot of people, like, I've noticed, like, people that get into, like, CrossFit, a lot of the people that do pretty well have, like, a base of strength, and then they can, like, build their engine relatively quickly. Like, that's what we had, I would say. Like, I came into CrossFit after doing like bodybuilding for a while, so I was pretty strong in a lot of the movements. I still struggle. I'm not saying that I am strong compared to a lot of people, but I'm not somebody that's coming in and like the bar is crushing me, you know?
Yeah.
So I was able to have that underlying strength and then build on that, and as well as work on my engine. Because I mean, when we say engine, that's basically your cardiovascular health, really. Like, you know what I mean? Like how fast you can move for how long, right? And so like that's gotten tremendously better from starting CrossFit. Because like before I started CrossFit, I literally never ran, like ever. And then I remember the first workout I did was the first time I ran. It was like just in the warm up, I ran 400 meters, and I was like, whoa, I didn't think I could do that.
Yeah.
So it's crazy.
And I think that if you have to bet on one, like bet on strength, because it takes a lot longer to build. If you're traveling and you're just like not in the CrossFit mood, like I would say do 5x5 squats before I say run a mile. You know what I mean? Like build that strength, keep that growing, because like we said, like you're gonna build an engine by working out and by doing it. And if you want to build an engine, honestly, the biggest thing for me has been interval work. Like it's blown my mind how much better I've been doing in workouts after doing interval work, because it puts you in that pain cave, even if you're just touching it. Like,
what are we talking about here?
Yeah,
Put you in the pain cave. You were just touching
when
it.
you touch it. But like,
man.
even like just barely approaching that pain cave, like it puts you there, so that when you do get there in another workout, different workout, you're like, oh yes, I've been here. You know, like what does Bane say? Like, oh, you merely adopted the darkness.
I was born in it.
I was born.
I have a question for you. So you told me that you are fully tracking macros again?
Yeah.
Why?
Because I'm summer shredding, baby.
You're summer shredding.
Yeah, summer
shredding, baby.
Summer shredding, baby.
Oh my gosh. Are you going to go compete at the Christian Guzman thing?
No.
Are you getting ready? Are you going to step on stage?
Is he doing something?
Yeah, man.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You're going to step on stage with your hairy chest and back.
Yeah, man.
You just step on stage. It's not tan at all.
Yeah.
It's just like with a pizza in your hand.
Yeah. No, it's summer shred. It's
summer shredding, baby.
100% what it is.
Oh my gosh. So what are you doing? I want to know your protocol. What are you doing? What are your macros right now?
This is day one.
I don't care, man.
I'm at like 2,800.
Okay, you're eating 2,800 calories.
Which I don't know. Is that good or bad? It's just what I was at before. So literally, I'm just like, oh, this is what I did before.
I think you could probably eat a little bit more of that, to be honest with you.
Yes. Okay, cool.
Yeah. I think that with the amount, especially now that you're doing like 2 days, a lot of days, I think that's probably too low.
So what I'm going to be doing is just testing this out, and then how I feel.
Exactly. That's the way that you should do it. Yeah. Test it out. I think you should stay where you are.
Yeah.
Like do that, and then see in 2 weeks or even a week, how do you feel? And if you're like, and the most important thing, Sean, is that you stick to it.
I know.
Because tell them, how good are you at sticking to a diet on the weekend?
Diets don't happen on the
Yeah, exactly. You are so bad at it. Sean can give this great advice to people, but when it comes to him following
diets
a diet,
don't happen on the weekends.
They do, Sean, actually. It's called not eating a whole pizza on Saturday.
Yeah, so I'm going to be doing
you have to, so like if that's going to be your plan, right, do something for 2 weeks, see how it works, and then make adjustments there. You actually have to do it for 2 weeks every day.
No,
okay.
We're good. We in, man.
Okay.
I'm going to look
It's still the first day, so.
100%, I want obliques.
You want obliques?
I want my obliques to have.
All right. So
have that cut in it.
So 2,800 calories right now.
Yeah.
And then we'll see where you go from there.
Yep.
All right. It's on the podcast now. People are gonna have to hold you accountable.
Oh man.
So next week we're gonna ask, what's your starting weight right now? Did you weigh yourself?
No, I need to do that.
Okay.
I forgot.
Okay.
I meant to, but I forgot. Like it literally was like yesterday. I'm like, all right, I'll do it.
All right. So what is when you're tracking your macros?
Yeah.
What does that change for you compared to like what your normal diet is?
It is.
Like, does it mean you're not going to be snacking as much now? Does it mean you're just going to be more cognizant of what you eat? Like, what does it mean? What does it change?
The biggest thing is dinner and weekends.
So what is that?
When I wake up and until dinner is literally like the same meal.
I think that you relate to like everyone.
Yeah.
I can relate to that. as well.
Yeah. So
I'll be crying. Like, what's that meme? It's like 10 a.m. salad. 12 p.m. chicken and rice.
Yeah.
At 5 p.m., like 14 Oreos, 9 pints of ice cream, and an entire village or whatever. Like I can relate to that 100%.
So it's just being a lot more intentional about, which is so funny because I didn't have time to meal prep this freaking weekend. So
it's my fault.
of all the weeks to start this, but it's like,
You better stick to it.
have a dinner plan. No, I want to stick to it.
You know how many times you started a diet and haven't stuck to it?
You know how many times I've started a diet on YouTube and not finished the series?
A lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
I need to
So
stick
you guys
to
have
this.
to. You guys have to annoy him in his comments.
Yeah.
100%.
So one of these questions is the process of starting. You'll know. Trust me.
Or maybe the process of giving up.
Yeah, no. Someone asked, what motivates you to work hard each day now that you work for yourself?
Oof. What motivates you to work hard? I think just like being proud of myself.
Mm-hmm.
That's like a huge part. Like if I go to sleep and I'm like I should have done more and I easily could have, I hate that feeling.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably what it is. Like making myself proud of myself.
Yeah, same. I want to, all right, now I don't want to offend anyone, but every morning I read the Bible and I journal. And if I'm proud, while I'm journaling, if I'm proud of what I did the day before. You know what I mean?
So when you journal, you like write down what you did the day before?
I don't write down what I did. I just kind of write down, all right, here's how I felt yesterday. Here's how I ended the day. Here's how I want today to feel. Here's what I'm doing. And then the next day, it's like kind of generally along those lines, right? Mm-hmm. And so I want to, in that journal time, be like, dude, I rocked it, right?
I think you should, in your journaling, you should write about your diet too. Now that you're starting this cut, I think that could be helpful.
Yeah, that is good because it's not vain.
Yeah,
It's important to me.
yeah,
I'm pouring more water into it.
yeah. There you go.
So someone else asked the effort it takes to invest in yourself and how to get there. Well, it takes a lot of effort because you
It's a big
feel
jump, too.
selfish.
Yeah,
It's really easy to feel selfish when you're... It's really easy to feel selfish when your friends want to go out and you want to go to the gym. It's really easy to feel selfish when someone brings donuts to the office and you're like, I got my meal prep.
or like it's not even if someone makes something, right?
Yeah.
Like it's fine if it's just like donuts someone bought for $5, but like if it's something like, oh, I made this, I'm really proud of it. Like this is my famous blah blah blah. You know, obviously you want to get to a point where you can enjoy that and like have a tiny piece, but like if you're just starting, I get being like, you know what, I can't right now. Like I just it's not gonna work out. But yeah, I totally understand. Like it's hard. You don't want to hurt someone's feelings either. You know.
Building a career in something you're passionate about, CrossFit / health and fitness. How do you start?
Doing it.
Yep. Doing
it for free for a long time.
Doing it. Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah.
And then getting better, right? So like,
oh yeah.
And that's going to be by doing it, but like investing in yourself, which is sounds so corny, but I've talked about this multiple times. Like 2 years ago, I didn't know how to video edit. I didn't know how to shoot in manual. I didn't know how to, you know what I mean? Like color grade. I had no clue what that was. And so it's like, but through learning and by doing, you learn, like you learn, you create, repeat. Learn, create, repeat. Learn, create, repeat. It's literally that process until you have developed this repertoire. You look back and you go, oh, I've made all this stuff. And then that's what gives you the confidence.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that because sometimes I'll go on my YouTube channel and just like look at the videos and it's like, man, there's a lot of videos here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the thumbnails and stuff like that. And I see how I've grown with thumbnails, like making better ones. Kind of. I'm not very good at that. Sean's a lot better at that stuff than I am. But I'm like, man, like it's cool being able to just scroll through and see all the hours and hours and hours I've put in. Like literally my whole life, you know, is there. It's crazy. If you want to learn, like, I'm going on a tangent now, but it's awesome.
Yeah, and what you have is like evidence now that you know how to edit videos or whatever. It may not be the best at video editing in the world, but like
definitely not.
But like you have evidence that like by the hours and the effort that you've put in, you now have a confidence to approach whatever you're going to do in the future. I mean, and a lot of them, like having a positive view in negative situations, have a plan.
Yeah.
Like have a like, you know, like when you go to work and you look on the wall in the break room and it's like, in case of fire, meet here. Have that for when things go bad. Like, you know, like when it hits the fan, here's how I need to approach the situation. Whether that's, you know, literally take a step back, breathe in 10 seconds, and then assess the situation, or whatever. Like, just have, like, you have an emergency plan for life and for work. Like, have an emergency plan for when things go wrong, and like resort to that.
Okay, let's do last question. Is there a good one that you want to end on? I know I'm giving you a lot of pressure right now, but
Attitudes in the past versus attitudes today.
Ooh.
What is the change?
Ooh, attitudes. I would say I'm much more confident in myself. So when like things used to go wrong, it was like I was just like, oh, of course this happened because everything wrong happens to me and life is terrible. You know, now it's not just the confidence, because like the confidence comes from me actually doing things. Like before I had lost weight and stuff, like the most I'd ever done was learn how to play drums, which I was very, very proud of. And I still am very, very proud of that. It's like, you know, I really thought I was going to be a drummer. Like that was going to be my job. Right. But it also comes from like with losing the weight, I was so disciplined in something that I realized like it gave me confidence to be like, if there is something that's going on in my life, like I can actually, like I have the tools to get over things. Because I've talked about it a couple times, but you know, I was in special ed growing up, and I like in school, because like school is your whole life basically until you're out of high school, right? So for like that whole time, I was always so not confident because I never did well. And like even in second grade, I remember coming home crying during the homework because I didn't understand it, and I didn't understand why everyone else in the class just got it so easily, right? So for me, it's that, and then just being positive about things, like being like, if something goes wrong, like it's not the end of the world, and I can learn, like get better from it, you know?
I think like for me, we always talk about the fact that you need to lose weight from a positive attitude because that helps so much.
Yeah, don't lose it because like I absolutely hate myself and I'm despised with everything that you know what I mean? Yeah, that's not good.
For me, like, I hated looking at pictures. Like, and I know that comparatively, sure, I didn't look that bad compared to big boy over here. But
compared to my really fat brother.
Yeah. But I still wasn't happy with the way I looked, right? And it was like, when it comes down to it, like, you may think that you don't like yourself. Like, you may think that. But if you care enough to make changes to better your life, there's something there. Like, you care about yourself enough. Enough. Like, and so, like, if you're in that spot, like, hold on to that. Because you obviously care about yourself enough to make a change. And it was like, I can see, like we were talking about, like even in my past YouTube videos, because I lost weight on YouTube pretty much. Like my first videos, which I might have hidden because I'm so embarrassed
so
about.
lame.
I know. Like I was a thick boy, and I
was thick with 3 C's, boy.
Yeah, and I had no intention of losing weight. Like I had no intention on my YouTube channel being a fitness channel. It was
that's so weird.
I was just doing like I was watching like Vlog Brothers, and I was reading books, and I was like, you know, the booktube is like a huge subculture on YouTube, and so I was like, oh, I want to be in the booktube community, so I want to talk about vlogs, and like by vlog, it wasn't like follow me around, it was a talking head video, but people called them vlogs then before Casey, in that time. So like, it literally were like me talking to a camera.
About how much you love Chipotle. Remember that video?
Yeah, I made a video about how much I love Chipotle. It was just like life things. And I would like edit the videos, and I would be like, I'm searching for approval right now. Like I can see that I'm looking into this camera hoping someone likes me. And I still have a little bit of that, but it's like,
I think that if you're putting videos on YouTube, like you cannot put the amount of effort that you put in.
Yeah.
Not being like, I want people to like this. Like, come on. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of.
But it was like, but there's a difference between like, who do I need to be for people to like me?
Yeah, there you go. That's what
I was looking at. I was
the issue, and we've talked about it before, the issue with that is that there's still going to be people that don't like you, and now you don't even like yourself.
I know.
Because you're being this fake version. So that's just, it doesn't work out. It never works out. Or even if it does for a little bit, eventually you're going to implode.
Yeah.
Because eventually eventually you cannot keep that up forever.
And that's where you see like so many YouTubers having
Huge burnouts because it's like they've been this fake person for 4 years and they can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%, man.
So I think that like discipline creates discipline. And the fact that I have been able to be more disciplined in my fitness has really helped me be disciplined in my self like talk and my self like appreciation. And I'm a much more confident person than I was when I started the journey. And it's not necessarily that I like worked really hard on my self-confidence, but I'm proud of the effort I've put in, which creates self-confidence.
There you go, man. Awesome.
I really like those questions.
This was fun. This was a fun podcast.
It was
It was
fun.
definitely different.
Yeah.
But I'm glad. And like, so I'm going to be honest. Someone definitely commented that we need to stop talking about CrossFit so much.
What's really funny is one of the questions is actually someone I know personally through Instagram and YouTube. His name's Dean, and he said, always more CrossFit.
Yeah. So it's funny, like with that, right? It's like,
we have that right now. We were just talking about. You had someone say, "Stop talking about CrossFit as much," and I had someone else go, "Why aren't you talking about CrossFit more?"
So it's like you can't make everybody happy. So it's like, so it's just like, let's talk about what we want to talk about. And apparently this week there wasn't much CrossFit stuff to talk about, so we didn't. But it's not like we're just gonna do what we want to do. And if you don't want to listen, that's totally cool. You know what I mean? You can do whatever you want.
I mean, there is something real quick, and then we're gonna end it.
Okay. Oh gosh.
Samantha Briggs has won 2 sanctionals.
She won. I haven't.
She won.
I've
the
been gone,
Australian,
so I have no. Who won? What guy won?
James Newbury.
Oh, nice.
My guy.
That's cool.
That's my guy. He's only my guy because he helped me with warm ups once on
YouTube.
a post. Or something.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't know.
That's awesome. Congrats to her.
So we got 2 more people, or one. I mean, 2 more people going to the CrossFit Games because Maddie Stewart got 2nd place. So there we go. That's our CrossFit talk.
There we go, right at the end, just for you guys that are really into the podcast and listen to the whole thing.
So if you guys liked this podcast, if you liked what you heard, feel free to please leave a 5-star rating on iTunes or on any other platform. And if you're listening on YouTube, leave your favorite line from the podcast. And
I like that. That's a good idea.
Yeah. And until next time, peace.
Peace.